I think I was wrong. I said in a video not long ago that tourism in the Dominican Republic is going to experience a dip, especially after soft February numbers, because of all the craziness in the US economy, tariff wars, the Trump up and down stuff when he's saying we are on, we are off, we are on, we are off for tariffs, right? So my thought was people are going to hold their money and, everything's going to crash. For at least a period of time, we're going to see a dip in tourism, we're going to see a reduction in the price of real estate and all of that in the Dominican Republic as Americans hold on to their money. But now, I think that might all be bluster. So in this video, I'm going to share some very specific stats, including the jobs report, and break that down a little bit and what it means, what I believe it means for tourism and investment here in the Dominican Republic. While I do that, I need to pack. So I'm headed to Austin, Texas. I got to pack this bag. So if you don't mind, I'm trying to do two things at once. I'm going to pack while I tell you about it. So what happened in the jobs report? Well, in April, the jobs report came out in the United States. And that report said that there was going to be about 135,000 new jobs. And this is after March was a very strong report. And all the reports after that were like, April's going to struggle. Ooh, yeah, March might be okay. But all the craziness. And then, of course, what is it called? Redemption Day or whatever it was, April 2nd, when Trump imposed all these tariffs. My God, April's going to crash. April didn't crash. 135,000 jobs expected. 177,000 jobs is what actually were added to the jobs market in April. Unemployment stayed flat at 4%. Way better than all analyst projections. And now it's fun to watch both sides go a little nuts. In fact, right now, some of you are watching, and if you are, just tune out if this is you. Orange man, bad. I don't care. Trump is, you just wait. Just go away. I'm not an anti-Trump guy. Also, if you're out there going like, MAGA, baby, it's all MAGA, you can go away too. I'm not a Trump loyalist. I'm loyal to me, I'm loyal to my family, and I'm loyal to my values. That's it. And then I look at the policies and the data and make decisions based on what is that telling me? The jobs report, nobody can spin it, is better than anybody expected. There will be the doomsdayers that say in May, you'll see the reckoning because the April jobs report only considered a specific part of April where, all of the layoffs and whatever hadn't taken hold yet. All the government layoffs that are still coming haven't really been incorporated into the jobs report. There's going to be all of that comes out. No doubt about it. I understand that there is not a definitive anything in the future. And I do believe that tariff policy long-term, if there's a tariff war long-term, that just can't be good. Again, the data, it just can't be good for the economy. I believe that tariff war is coming closer to an end than many think, and I'm going to share a Reuters report that nobody saw about what China's doing right now in just a second. So stay tuned for that. But here's the deal. 177,000 jobs added, 4.2% unemployment, which is flat. Then you look at some other markers. Did you know that the S&P 500 from election day to now is up almost 7%? It's up almost 7%. What that means is the market, while everybody's looking at the volatility over the past few days or past month, the up, the down, they're looking in this little tunnel of what the market's doing. From the time Trump was elected to today, it's actually up 7%. Zoom out is all I'm saying. That's not a bad thing. Another stat that came out was that the GDP retracted. There was GDP retraction for the first time in a long time in Q1. It went down by 0.3%. So GDP actually retracted. That's never a good thing. However, when you look at what that was, it was sort of an intentional byproduct of the tariffs. Here's what I mean. When the tariff date was imposed, whatever day it was in April, right ahead of that, just ahead of that, a ton of US companies, they amped up their imports. So think of it this way. Every month, every quarter, there's a number of exports going out where you're getting money from another country, and there's a number of imports that you're bringing in where you're spending money. So you're spending money to import, you're getting money for exports. Well, when the tariffs were imposed, a bunch of companies said, buy as much as we can right now. So they amped up imports. They bought a lot more while still exporting the same amount. So they're selling this much, and now they're buying this much. So Q1, it retracted because of a specific moment, a data point, or not a data point, an action that was taken by US companies deciding to up their inventory of products that they're importing before they get tariffed. Does that make sense? It would be like if on Monday the store said, hey, we're doubling our prices that you buy all of your groceries at, you might rush to that store on Saturday and buy 2-3 times the amount of groceries before the prices double. But eventually, you're going to have to go back and buy more so the economy kind of, or the grocery store bill kind of levels out. I hope that makes sense. So that's what happened. That's why GDP retracted. And if you're wondering what would have happened if tariff policy were not imposed, GDP would have grown by 4.5%. So really, GDP is fine. Consumer spending dropped from Q4 to Q1 by about 2 points. You know what happens every Q4 to Q1? It drops by about 2 points. You go through the Christmas and holiday season, people are spending more, they spend less in Q1. But those numbers are insignificant unless some media outlet or somebody who just hates Orange Man wants to point out, you see what happened Q4 to Q1? It's like go back to 2020, 2019, 2018, back to 2000, back to 1912 and show what happened Q4 to Q1. It always drops because people spend more in Q4. So if you've got jobs growing, unemployment flat, stable Fed rates, stable interest rates, you've got GDP growth showing an anomaly because of an influx of imports for the reason I just explained a moment ago, and you have a normal drop in consumer spending from Q4 to Q1, where's the economic hardship here? I know there are people that are suffering, but the masses, most of us, are looking at life, I think, just like, let me kind of just do what I normally do. The analogy I came up with was like, imagine 20 of us are standing in Starbucks wanting to order, and somebody comes into Starbucks and just starts screaming about how awful things are. And oh my God, it's coming. It's terrible. You're not going to believe it. All of us would kind of look around at each other like, wait a minute, what? Oh, didn't come? All right, let me just go order my latte. It's kind of what people are doing right now. And here's more proof of that in terms of why I'm wrong and what's happening in tourism and investment down here in Dominican Republic. Did you know that in April, while the stats haven't been released by the Dominican government yet for number of arrivals into the country, the Holy Week, Semana Santa, got, 5%, saw a 5% increase in arrivals for that week versus last year, same week. So April is looking like, by all accounts, it's actually going to show an increase in arrivals, both cruise and air. Airfare is still not down, but a lot more routes are being added. Now, people might be like, well, if all the routes are being added, why aren't prices coming down? And here's why: supply and demand. You can increase supply, you can go from here to here on supply, but if demand remains here, you still haven't met that demand, so therefore prices are going to be higher. So think about that. Flights are being added from Hartford, from Pittsburgh, from Raleigh-Durham, from Nashville, from Indianapolis, from Denver. There was another one recently added. Anyway, flights are being added constantly coming to the Dominican Republic, but the prices haven't moved. It's because there's still heavy demand. Look at tourism. Look what's coming into the country right now. There's still a lot of demand for inbound flights into DR. So therefore, maybe we're not going to see a drop in tourism in the short term. I don't know. Definitely post Semana Santa week, you could feel it. It's a little bit of a drop off, but I'll be honest with you. I was just in an area to the north called Cortocito Corrales, and they were telling me, a lot of people I met there, they're like, yeah, we're like 85, 90% occupied for Airbnb, which, by the way, Cortocito Corrales is the best Airbnb market in Punta Cana. It's why I bought in a development called Maple Beach, or Maple Suites, I should say, which is a Boardwalk Developments property. That's why I bought there. Cortocito Corrales has a lot of improvement that needs to be made in the area, but people stay there. Airbnbs are rented there. So it's a great spot, and you're seeing 85, 90% occupancy based on the operators I talked to there. So that's one indication that like maybe things haven't slowed down. When I go here to a place called Cana Club, which is like a golf community, I don't play golf. I hate golf with a passion. But they have a great beach club there. When I go there, man, like the parking lot's full. The golfers are out. It's a busy place. Like the eye test, the sniff test doesn't match this idea that tourists aren't going to come. I think what's happening is most of us, like in Starbucks, are sitting there saying, okay, I see all the noise on TV. Then I look around. I have income. I have equity in my home. I don't have a ton of debt. I think there's many people like that, despite what the media will tell you that like, oh my God, all the people in the world are suffering. I don't have too much debt. Like, I'm just going to book my vacation. And that's what's happening right now. So that means that the Dominican Republic is still seeing an influx of tourists. It's growing its GDP still, the largest GDP growth in all of the region. It's the number one attractor of international investment. Real estate is still rolling along despite a lot of variables like Haitian deportations and many other things. It's still growing. It's still going. And I truly believe, and I've said this for a while, that this is a moment that if you're saying, well, I'm waiting for the crash, I'm waiting for something bad to happen, like, yeah, it'll happen at some point, but none of the indicators right now show that's going to happen in the near future. And even if it does, long-term investments here show upside. So don't buy now, don't invest now, that's fine. But in 5 years, you're going to look back, it's like, man, I wish I did. I'll tell you a quick story. A neighbor of mine bought his house in the pandemic here in the neighborhood that I live in for $400,000. That house today goes for $7 million. When I moved here at the same exact time, thought 400 grand. Are you crazy? I'm not paying 400 grand for a house in Punta Cana. Man, I wish I bought back then. We just put an offer in on a house locally for well over $600,000 that we're hoping to get. You see my point? Like, we missed out on the opportunity. Now, if let's say the market corrects by 10, 20% and that house drops to 5, if I had bought at 4, I'm still good at 5. You see what I'm saying? You buy now, you understand that you're going to invest long term, and you ride out the ups and downs, knowing that in time, it ends up up. I mean, look at the Dow, look at the S&P. 5 years ago to today, with all the volatility and the craziness people are concerned with, I've lost all this money in my 401k. It's double what it was 5 years ago still. Double. Time creates value. So I really believe we're in a moment of investment. Now, here's what China's doing. Let me get pants. Hold on. Here is what China is doing. I don't wear pants very often here, so I need to pack them for Texas, even though it's warm there, but whatever. Here's what China is doing that people don't really realize. Yes, they've imposed 145% reciprocal tariffs on the United States. They're in this tariff war. They've indicated that they may come to the table, they may not. But they also recently dropped tariffs secretly. Go to Reuters and look it up. On, I think it's over 100 products that they export to the United States. So they're dropping their tariffs so they can publicly say, we're not going to back down from the United States, while privately on the sly, knocking tariffs down on multiple different products that they export to the United States. Think about that. So they're saving face here while secretly cutting tariffs here. Nobody's going to report this. Reuters is the only one that I saw reporting this. Maybe there was another outlet. But you see my point? When you think of policy, not orange man good, orange man bad. When you think of just policy, what all of us have to say is, okay, prolonged tariffs, I think we all agree, probably not a good thing for the global economy. But the initial push on tariffs, while it created a lot of turbulence and knocked people on their heels, you're seeing the smallest ever trade deficit with China over the last 50 years. That's happening right now. Data. That's just data. We talked about some of the other stats around jobs, the reality of GDP growth in the United States because of imports. It kind of created some anomaly in the data. You're looking at all of this stuff and saying, wait a second, if we have less of an imbalance, there is increasing number of jobs, unemployment is stable, rates are stable, and China is now starting to indicate that they can't survive this trade war by dropping tariffs on certain products. Many, like I think it's like 125 products, dropping tariffs on certain products. To me, it's like, man, if it goes too long, yeah, it could hurt. And that could be your recession, that could be your downturn, that could be your drop in tourism and drop in pricing in real estate here. Because again, Americans fuel this market from a real estate and tourism perspective. But I don't know. I think I might have been wrong. I think we may be going through a stable growth period still. We'll see what the May report says. I'll do another video. I was wrong about being wrong if that's the case. But I hope you get what I'm saying. I think, for the emotional of you out there who are, if you're still watching, just go away. I could see the comments already. Like, well, you don't understand about Trump, or what are you, a liberal? Like, I love seeing both of those comments on a video. I have videos that have both. Like, you flaming liberal woke piece of crap right next to you Trumpers scare the hell out of me. It's like, well, which one am I? And here's the truth. I'm neither of them. I'm a conservative-minded Christian values guy who chooses to look at information and analyze it, and who chooses his stance on the issue. I don't align with an individual. I'm not a sheep. I don't look at Trump as my deity, or Biden, or Kamala, or the Democratic Party, or the Republican Party. Like, they're all corrupt. They're all garbage to me. All of them. All I care about is, what is the policy they're imposing? What's the impact? And where do I see that road going? For those of you that are logical out there, I hope that makes sense. I actually met a guy the other day that reminded me that most people are getting what I'm putting down. Most people. But the commenters, they get a little stupid sometimes. And that's all I see. So from my perspective, it's like, man, there's a lot of crazies out there. But I know you watching right now, maybe you drop a comment. If you don't, I don't comment on YouTube videos. If you never comment on a YouTube video, comment on this from like, dude, I'm with you. keep going. Or, dude, you're crazy. I don't care. But like, if you're with me on this, let me know down below. Support that for me. And if you need help with a realtor, with an attorney, with a developer, there are links down below to get on lists of referral forms for. Let me try that again. There are links down below to get on a referral form. I will refer you a realtor I trust, a lawyer I trust, or a developer I trust, if it helps you decide whether or not you're going to invest down here. But I'm glad I'm invested. Right now it's in one property, and then I'm looking at a piece of land right now up in Meaches. If you follow me for a while, you know what I'm talking about. Those are my two investments that I'm anchoring into right now. And then of course I made an offer on a house locally here, since we lived in Michigan before moving here, and we're selling our house in Michigan as we speak. We're just listing it, I think, next week. So lots of things. I see a ton going good in this market. I'm excited about it. I'm part of it. I participate in it. I'm packing because I have to go speak at an event this week, or actually early next week. But yeah, I think that's it. You don't want to see my underwear, I don't think. It's boxer briefs. Too much information. Boxers let things flop around too much. Briefs give you chafing if you're a real man. You know what I mean? With any kind of girth in your thighs. I don't know where I'm going with this. But you get my point, folks. I would say stop listening to the noise out there. Stop listening to the media tell you everything's going down. Think about it in COVID when they told you the mist outside is going to kill you. Then you'd step outside and be like, oh, everything seems kind of normal, actually. But the news tells me that there's a fog coming that's going to take all of us out. Remember that? That didn't happen either. Anyway, I'm going to head to the airport. I got a board in like 2 hours. So I got to head to the airport. Thankfully, I can walk to it. I hope this all made sense. I'll put some video up here because I like to give you an option to watch something else if it helps you. Probably going to be something about the economy in DR, something recent that I did. But I'll put that right here. YouTube will let me know which one is best for all of you. And I'll see you all in the next one.